Adrian always ruined relationships the same way. First, he loved too hard. Then, he became terrified. Then, he destroyed everything before the other person could leave him first. By the age of 23, he had already convinced himself that everyone eventually abandoned him. Friends, girlfriends, even family. And the terrifying part was, every time someone left, it felt less like heartbreak and more like proof. The night everything finally collapsed started with 4 words. We need to talk. The message came from Lily at 10:14 p.m. Adrian stared at the screen so long the brightness dimmed. His stomach twisted instantly. His breathing changed. His mind started racing faster than he could control. She knows. She's leaving. There's someone else. I knew this would happen. Most people would have waited for the conversation. Adrian mentally survived the breakup 100 times before it even happened. That was the reality of living with borderline personality disorder. People think borderline personality disorder is just being emotional. It isn't. For someone with borderline personality disorder, emotions arrive like natural disasters. A delayed reply can feel like rejection. Silence can feel like abandonment. And tiny emotional shifts can feel physically painful. Adrian didn't understand any of that yet. All he knew was that fear had taken over his body again. He called Lily immediately. No answer. Again, no answer. His chest tightened harder. By the 3rd missed call, panic had already transformed into anger. That happened often, because anger felt more powerful than fear. He grabbed his keys and drove through the rain toward her apartment while thoughts crashed violently inside his head. She's ignoring you. She found someone better. You were stupid to trust her. Rain slammed against the windshield while his grip tightened around the steering wheel. His phone buzzed. A text from Lily. I'm still at work, stop overthinking. But Adrian couldn't stop. That was the problem. His emotions never felt small. They swallowed him whole. And the truth was, this didn't start with Lily. It started years earlier. As a child, Adrian lived in a house where emotions changed without warning. His father could be warm one night and explosive the next. A spilled drink could turn dinner into screaming. A simple question could become an argument. His mother survived by staying quiet. So Adrian learned silence meant danger. Distance meant anger. And love was something unstable that disappeared without warning. Children raised around emotional unpredictability often grow up hyper-aware of rejection. Their brains learn to constantly scan for signs that people are leaving. That fear followed Adrian into adulthood. Then he met Lily. And for the first time in years, someone made him feel safe. Lily was calm in a way Adrian wasn't. Warm. Patient. Easy to love. The kind of girl who remembered tiny details about people. At first, their relationship felt perfect, almost addictive. Adrian loved her intensely. He memorized everything about her. Her coffee order, the songs she listened to when she couldn't sleep, the exact look on her face before she cried. Lily once smiled and told him, "Nobody has ever cared about me this much before." Adrian smiled too. But deep down, something unhealthy was growing. Because Lily slowly stopped becoming a person in his mind. She became emotional survival. And for many people with borderline personality disorder, relationships can start feeling exactly like that, like losing someone means losing yourself. At first, Lily thought Adrian's intensity was romantic. Then it became overwhelming. If she replied late, Adrian spiraled. If she canceled plans, he became distant. If she sounded tired, he immediately thought, she's losing feelings. And once fear entered his mind, it spread fast. One moment he adored her. The next moment he pushed her away before she could hurt him first. That emotional switching is common in BPD. Psychologists call it splitting. Suddenly, seeing someone as completely perfect or completely terrible depending on emotional state. And Adrian hated himself every time it happened. That was the tragedy. He wasn't trying to be cruel. He was terrified. One Friday night, Lily went out with coworkers. Completely normal. But Adrian checked her location nearly 40 times. Every minute without a reply felt unbearable. Then suddenly, her location froze. His stomach dropped immediately. He called her. No answer. Again. Nothing. Within minutes, his thoughts became destructive. She's lying to you. She's with another guy. Nobody ever really stays. By the time Lily finally called back, Adrian wasn't scared anymore. He was furious. Why were you ignoring me? Lily sounded exhausted. Adrian, my phone died. But he barely heard her. The fear had already become rage. That was the cycle of BPD. Fear, anger, regret. Over and over again. The next morning, Adrian apologized repeatedly. Flowers, long messages, promises to change. And he meant every word. But emotional instability kept destroying the relationship piece by piece. Then came the night that ended everything. Lily canceled dinner because she had a migraine. A healthy person would have understood. Adrian felt abandoned. Again, he stared at her message, while thoughts spiraled violently through his mind. Then he drove. Fast. Too fast. Rain crashed against the windshield while music blasted loud enough to silence his thoughts. His phone buzzed. Lily calling. Ignored. Another call. Ignored. Then finally, a message appeared. Adrian, you're scaring me. And suddenly, everything inside him went quiet. Because for the first time, he realized something horrifying. The person he loved most was beginning to fear him. He pulled over near a bridge overlooking black water. Rain hit the windows while his breathing shook uncontrollably. And sitting there alone in the dark, Adrian finally admitted something he had spent years avoiding. He wasn't scared of losing Lily. He was scared of abandonment itself. Like the frightened child inside him never stopped begging people to stay. A week later, Lily ended the relationship. Quietly. No screaming. No dramatic goodbye, which somehow hurt even more. Her final words haunted him for months. I love you, Adrian, but I can't survive inside your fears anymore. After she left, Adrian completely unraveled. 1 hour. He hated her. The next hour, he missed her so badly it physically hurt. That emotional instability is another painful reality of borderline personality disorder. Emotions can change rapidly and intensely. Love becoming anger, anger becoming shame, shame becoming emptiness. And the emptiness was the worst part. Not sadness, emptiness. Like he didn't know who he was without someone loving him. He stopped sleeping properly, started drinking more, driving recklessly, trying desperately to escape feelings that followed him everywhere. Months later, after a severe panic attack sent him to the hospital, Adrian finally started therapy. At first he blamed Lily, then himself, then everyone, until one session changed his life. His therapist asked quietly, "When did you first learn people leave?" And suddenly Adrian was 8 years old again, standing outside his parents' bedroom listening to screaming through the walls, waiting for the sound of someone walking away. That was the moment everything finally made sense. Not excuses, explanations. For the first time, Adrian understood something life-changing. He wasn't reacting to the present. He was reacting to old wounds, pretending to be present danger. Recovery wasn't quick. People with BPD don't suddenly become emotionally stable overnight. Healing meant learning emotional regulation, learning how to pause before reacting, learning that silence doesn't always mean rejection, that people can love you and still need space. That being alone is not the same thing as being abandoned. Slowly, the emotional storms inside Adrian became quieter, not gone, but manageable. 2 years later, Adrian sat alone in a quiet cafe while rain tapped softly against the windows. His phone buzzed. A message from Lily. "I hope you're doing okay." Years ago, that message would have destroyed him emotionally. This time, he smiled softly, locked his phone, and continued drinking his coffee. No panic. No spiral. No fear. Because for the first time in his life, he no longer needed someone else to feel whole.